Good evening, everyone. It's a little bit late, 10 past 8, but we got there. Hey, Bronca.
Hi, Cleo.
How are you?
Great.
We're
Are you
covering
ready for? Are you ready for big topic?
the three
Which
R.
would be Hi, Cleo.
Hi, Bronx.
We are back.
We're back. We're covering the tough topics, you and I.
That's right. Yeah, rental apartment always have a fun, isn't it?
We definitely do. Never a dull moment. So we've got the 3 R's tonight, Bronx. Do you want to tell everyone what they are?
That's right. The big 3 R's. It's rent, report, and repairs. They're very, very connected.
And risky, another R.
Another R. Rentals, it starts with R and then goes through all the department, isn't it?
It's so
all
true.
Right. What do you think about current rental market?
Well, as we were talking earlier this evening, there is quite a bit of stock on the Northern Beaches online at the moment, but not real affordable stock is what we were talking about, isn't it?
That's right. Currently on real estate, we have about 620 property available for rent. And rent is quite high, isn't it?
Yeah, so your affordable rentals, your bog stock 2 bedders and 1 bedders, there's not as many of those. It's more your high-end properties.
Yep. And
What?
currently, most owners requesting for rent to be increased. Why is that?
Well, interest rates are high for our investors out there, and also to own an investment property, your overheads are also increasing. So, the cost has got to roll down somehow, doesn't it?
Yeah. Since May last year, we had 11 interest rates, and it's been increased 11 times, and no one is talking when will that stop. Who knows how many more it's coming. We don't know. And as you said, cost of investment to have investment is going up.
Yeah, so I guess what these interest rate rises are forcing the investors that are out there in the market, a lot of them are thinking twice on whether or not to purchase another investment property, or whether they should get into an investment property at all. And I guess also the flow-on effect from that is that means that there's less new stock coming available, which in turn makes the stock that is online a lot higher because there's more tenants in demand.
Yeah. And after Benny's rent increased, when we send increase letters to our current tenants, what's next step? What's happening then? What we are experiencing?
Well, we send a 60-day notice period to our tenants of a rent review. That's not old legislation, that's new legislation. So it's always been a 60-day notice for an increase to take effect within a periodic or even towards the end of a fixed term arrangement. 60-day notice, only one per year. Mr. Tenant gets home, opens up his rent increase. Oh my God, my rent's going up. And then they look around the property. And then the second R that we're using today is their reports that they then send on to their property manager.
Yep.
That's when we cry in the office. No, just
That tells us about the condition of the property or the tenant's expectation and justifying rent increases. And what is usually in that report?
Well, tenants have a number of things that they then look at throughout the property. Some is regular maintenance, and that, of course, goes on without or with an increase. Something happens that the landlord's required to do, whether they've had an increase or not. That's something they're entitled to have repaired, and we carry out those repairs on a day-to-day basis. But what usually follows from a rent increase is tenants then look at onsetting that value back onto the owner in way of wanting things for the property.
Yeah, it's not always, isn't it, that is regular maintenance. It's sometimes the people think, oh, if my rent is gone up, then property should be improved, isn't it?
Yeah, like I want a dishwasher now, or aircon now, or, bathroom renovations, or this or that, things that were not a common request during a
Yeah,
normal tenant.
that's right. And then then we got to repairs. We try to organize repairs as soon as possible. There is not really timeline, isn't it, for repairs? When it's urgent repairs, that should be done straight away. We know what's emergency, and then if it's improvement or if it's a repairs that can take a time, but then we organize tradesmen. What kind of tradesmen we use? What we experiencing to finding a new tradies, and how waiting list is to get a good tradesman.
Look, a normal turnaround for reasonable repairs would be within a week or two. You've still got to get a quote. You've still got to get approval from the owner. We then have to call our tradies. We have to book them in. They have overhead increases. There's a delay in that side of things with maintenance at the moment that we're experiencing. But we try as property managers to get the repairs done as quickly as we can when they're not of an urgent nature. There is nothing set in stone as to when a loose door handle should be repaired. Of course, if a tenant's reported it, we usually report it straight to the owner. If it's within the expenditure limit on the managing agency agreement, we usually can work quite quickly. But we you and I and our other senior in the office, we have spoken so much about how it's hard to get tradies quickly at the moment, apart from our trusted Novak tradies that have, been doing work for us for over 25 years. And that's another good thing with, being in our office, is that we do have a lot of local tradespeople that have been doing work for us for such a long time, and we get priority. But there's certain things that we don't get priority, and we have to source other people, and that can take a long time, especially if they're, if it's a strata job. Working with strata is always tough because there's an executive committee that have to approve repairs and maintenance and any requests. That can take time. That's still another email that goes to 8 landlords or 20 landlords on the committee, and to get that approval takes time. So a lot of these repair requests can't be turned around in a quick way as much as we'd like them to.
Yeah, and also that's additional cost to landlords, isn't it?
Yeah, a bylaw, a special levy passed in, or a special bylaw, an EGM, that all costs money. It could cost up to $2,000-$3,000 to get all of that over the line.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
there's a lot of
this is, but also when you said it's good that we have our tradesmen and they can help us straight away. But then when we have to get a couple quotes, then it takes time as well, isn't it? It's not just to engage regular people that we're using when it comes to quotes. then is where time gets a bit
Yeah, and a
late.
lot of guys, they don't want to give you quotes. You know, the days of the free quote are over. People charge a call out fee to give you a quote. Appliance companies, roofers, landscape gardeners. The time of having, you know, them turn around and go, oh yeah, I'll just pop around tomorrow and give you a quote. That's gone. That's been and gone. It takes a long time, and a lot of the expectation is that quotes are free, and they're not. They're just not. So when we say, well, we have trusty trade people, carpet people, painters that will give our landlords the best quote, the first quote, it's sometimes better and easier to go with that, you know, because having time to source two or three quotes annoys your tenant for one, because they're waiting. And there's no
Yep.
guarantee you're going to get the quote. Some of them don't even respond for a week or two, you know, and then you're back at square one trying to find someone to do another quote.
Yep. And also, when you said reports are now they charge you a call fee, but example, if you are looking for builder and if you have a few things that need to be done around some house, then builder has to spend good minimum 3 hours to look from the roof to the garage door, what needs to be done, and what need to be repaired, what need to be replaced. It costs up to $1,500, isn't it? We experienced that they charge for $1,500 for that report. And do you think that's reasonable?
For their time, it's totally reasonable, because that's also their liability on the line. If they're quoting something and they're putting something in writing, that's their professional recommendation. If they do the work then carried out on that report, then they have to honor that. So it's their money that they're playing with. So they're not going to, you know, just write anything in a quote just to get it done and over the line.
Yep. And
Yes.
it's true, if person just comes and see the house around and thinks maybe this need to be done, maybe that need to be done, isn't it? Then it's normal that you don't need to pay anything. But if you're expecting to get a written quote and outline everything what need to be done, then there is a time that is being spent and it should be charged for that.
For sure. Strata request diagrams, specific diagrams for an install on an aircon, for example, where the water is going to drain, all of that sort of stuff, you know, that takes time. That tradie then has to go home, go on his computer, do up all the draft and the diagram. That's all time he's not getting paid, you know, to do and do all of that side of it. So yeah, I think it's totally justified that they charge for their quotes. Having said that, though, we do have tradespeople in our office that don't charge for quotes because they do a lot of work for the office. So they go out and they do, you know, have a look and sometimes can give a verbal quote over the phone. But tenants also need to realize if an owner's requesting more than one quote, that's going to extend the time for the repair to be carried out.
And so, especially example for roof. And these days, what we experience with the weather that we have today, it's like if you're waiting for some quotes and waiting for tradesmen to come around and provide you a quote, property getting a more damage.
For sure, 100%. And leaking and water is devastating to a tenant and an owner's property. Carpets, you know, furnishings, whatever is happening in the roof, like it can be a time game on how to quickly get this solved. Leaving a carpet to, you know, absorb water for a whole day while you're waiting for a quote versus having an extraction company come out and start draining the water right away and someone getting up there to have a look could potentially save, you know, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to an owner. So yeah,
That's meaning it's not just a roof that need to be fixed, then you're coming to Gibrock, then you're coming to electrical, then a carpet or floorboards, isn't it? It's getting more more and more damage, and its costs and expenses are much, much higher. All right, and as we said, in a rentals, it's a lot of hours, isn't it? Rent, report, repairs, routine inspections, they all really very connected, isn't it? And for the end, if you can just make conclusion about our tonight's topic, do you think that if rent is increased these days, that all repairs should be done? Is that how would justify that rent increase, or rent increase is just due to current market value and also interest rates and the cost in general, cost of having investment?
Way to put me in the firing line, Branka. Thank you. Look, rent increases at the moment for a lot of our owners and clients are justified. Their expenses have gone up, just like my expenses have gone up, your expenses have gone up. You know, to run a property, to pay strata, to pay water, to pay council, to have compliancy, landlord insurance, all of that is increased. On top of that, you got a mortgage for your investment and you got a mortgage on your home as well. So some of these costs are being onset to tenants. As a retaliation, though, some tenants do come back with, okay, well, I want this in a huge report. Out of those maintenance requests that come through, I would say, just an average, out of 10 of those requests, 3 are probably out of 10 something the owner does consider and usually will do for a tenant in any case. And it is a negotiation. If a tenant wants something, we always put forward the request to the owner, and if they're within their means to do it, then they will do that. But you've got to also look at, if a tenant's wanting major improvements on a property, it's hard to do those after following a rent increase whilst they're still living there. Some owners will opt to end the tenancy, start fresh, do all the work required, and then re-let the property at current market value. And that's what's happening at the moment. The market and current market value is what is in question. And a lot of these properties that are at the lower end of the scale are that way because they don't have all these improvements carried out. That doesn't mean the owner's costs still haven't gone up. It just means that the home is more affordable because of the state the property is in. It doesn't have the mod cons, it doesn't have downlights, it doesn't have air conditioning and certain things. So to request that on an owner following a rent increase, you know, if the owner agrees to it, fair enough. But is it reasonable? I don't think in every case it is. That's my opinion.
Yeah, same. I agree 100% with you.
Yeah. And look, we've done increases recently where the owners have been more than accommodating to look at the tenants because they've been great tenants. And some of their concerns are, look, I'm in a position where I have to increase the rent, but you've been such a great tenant, is there anything that you want, will you stay? Like, can we sign a 12-month lease agreement? Things like that. So it's not all, that owners are trying to just gouge tenants for rent, more rent. We do the best we can to find a common ground. And if it needs to be fixed or something needs to be done or the owner's in their means to do it, then of course we try and facilitate that for sure.
Yep. On our best way. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
That would be it. Thank you, Claire.
Thank you, Branka. I hope you have a nice hot tea. What a weapon coming out tonight with a cold. So seriously, we never sleep, do we?
No. Thank you.
Good night. We'll
Thanks
see you 3 more days. Bye.
Good. Bye.
See you.